Okay, let's try this again, because unfortunately, whilst I was recording this previously, my capture card suddenly decided to fail, with me pretty much being finished with the third race. And once I was finished with the third race, my capture card just basically decided to cut itself off. So I'm now gonna try this again. So we were on precisely 56.5% of progress when we came into this. And this is the bike I started off with, the Yamaha RZ250. I did not make any changes to the riding gear. I have already done the first two races because, well, I did not turn off autosave, and yes, you can turn off autosave if you're asking, but unfortunately, I have to go through these two races again, because, well, I did them before. I figured it made sense for me to just do them again. So, first time I actually won this race, it was on my second attempt, and I was up against the Honda NSR 250R for that first race. And this time we've got one Honda and two Yamahas as our competition, and you'll notice that we have an increase in opponents this time. Instead of us doing head-to-head events, we are now doing actual races, because we actually have a grid. A grid of competitors. And basically I'm just going to do this the way I did it before. So, first time I actually did this race, I wound up losing by 2 seconds to the Honda NSR, and that was because I tripped myself up in the process. But the second time, because I was a little bit harder on the throttle, I was able to successfully pull off the win. And in the process, I also managed to get some more helmets won, as well as another bike. I won't be able to show you the helmets because personally I don't really give a shit about showing the riding gear because, well, no one really wants me to do that, and in all honesty I don't really want to do it myself either. But I will showcase the bikes, because the bikes are the important part. And up by less than 2/10, and I'm currently locked in a pretty big tussle with the TZR 250 SPR as we head through these last couple of corners, but since I know precisely what sort of pace to set, on my second attempt of recording, I win this race just like I did in the first attempt, except for saying this time it was on the first attempt. And we had a racing modified FZR 400 in that race as well, along with the NS250R. But yeah, my main opponent for the first two races was the Honda NSR 250R SE Racing Modified. I'm also pretty sure I'm going to have to resave my replay as well, because, well, I did save a replay at the time of when I was recording initially. So first race is down. Let's now get through the second race and use the bike that I used before, and that is the Honda NS250R. which by the way is the second bike I switched over to. And in all honesty, I won that race pretty easily. And now we will switch over to the NS250R. And I will pretty much show you how I won the race before. So, engine displacement is under 750cc. I'm pretty confident in saying that since my competition is mainly running most likely in the 200 to 300cc in the 200 to 300cc bracket, I don't think this is going to be too hard to pull off. And this time we've got a VFR 400R on pole, along with a Kawasaki GPZ 400R and a Honda NSR 250R SE. Ironically, the bike that I eventually managed to beat here at Motegi before. So here is what I did before. So you'll notice that is not the default setting, but if I revert back to the default settings, you will notice that the top speed is now dropped to 130.5. However, on my first attempt, I increased the speed a little bit, up to here, which is about 132, and I was topping out at about 136 the last time I did this. So I was pretty sure in saying that my speed wasn't quite enough, so I did more adjustments to the gear ratio, and I set the top speed at precisely 135. So that's more specifically 2.707 on the final gear. And that's pretty much what I did. And we also have the auto settings as well, which can also increase the speed, but I'm pretty sure the gears are fine. I just had to adjust the final gear a bit, and that was pretty much what I did. And now that I've shown you more or less what the optimum speed is to win this race, let's actually head out and beat the other two Hondas, along with the Kawasaki. I am still convinced in saying that I can beat that Honda, because I was only 0.3 off before. And I think the main reason for me failing again is because I did not quite have enough speed. Although it is fair to say that I've definitely stretched out the final gear a bit more than what I thought I had to do. But either way, you have to do something to try and accommodate for your opponent, and you know what? I think I'm going to switch from the medium tyres to the soft tyres. I think that's probably where I'm lacking. I don't think the speed is really going to matter all that much. I'll put it up to about 142. And yeah, I switched from the mediums to the softs because you can do that. And now, I think we should have just about everything we need in order for this bike to win. We've got the grip, we've got the speed, I just need to show I have the tenacity. And I am convinced in saying the tenacity is there now, because I am going through these corners on a grippier tyre. And I'm convinced in saying that was where I lost out before, because I did not quite have enough grip. But I'm convinced in saying my speed this time should be enough in order for me to get this pulled off, because I have the grip, I have the speed, I just need to show that I have the pace. I was able to beat the Honda NSR 250R before, once I made enough changes. And now, I'm convinced in saying with this grippier tyre, I pretty much have everything I need in order to realistically make a run for the checkered flag. I think that is possible now, but it's just a matter of me being able to prove I can get there. Or if I don't manage to do it this time, then I'll have to switch over to a more powerful bike. But either way, I would not be so stubborn if I hadn't done this before, and I'm confident in saying that I can do it again. It's probably the only reason for me feeling like I can do this at all. But this time, I am a lot closer than I was before, and the gap is now just 4/10. So, providing I stay on my bike this time, I should pretty much have this one almost hands down. As I dip to the apron, and oh yeah, he is fast. We were side by side when we came off that corner. Still looks like he has a little more speed than me, but this time, I'm pretty sure I've got him beat. And there we go, that should do it. I just needed to put on a grippier tyre, along with just giving myself enough speed, and then I would have it. And 5 seconds from first to last. That's nice. Okay, anyway. So let's now override our previously saved replay because, well, my previous one was thwarted. So, saving data and overwriting, and there we go. That is another replay saved. And now we move on to race number 3. A race which I did initially, but then because the game hadn't saved, and because the camera decided to, and because the capture card decided to stop recording at the worst possible time, I ultimately decided to reset the game, as well as the system, just so I could do that afterwards. But anyway, so just to show you the bikes that we won, so first and foremost, we got a blue Honda CB400. I'm pretty sure it is in here somewhere because I saw it. I figured I might as well show you these just because, well, why not? Yeah, here it is. So, from winning race 1, we get this Honda CB400 4 in varnish blue, and the other bike we get from winning race 2 is this, the Triumph Daytona 650, the prize we get from winning race 2. I don't think any of you are really bothered about the riding gear, so I'm just going to leave that out because, well, I don't know shit about helmet models, and in all honesty, I don't really give a shit, to be perfectly honest with you. Anyway, on now to race number 3. and where we will be using the Suzuki GSXR 400, because I figure this is a good bike to use for our last race. Because why not? Okay, let's now go out and do the third and final race of the Sunday Cup, which takes place at Suzuka East. We've won Autumn Ring, we've won on the Motegi Oval, and now we need to win at Suzuka. And then once we are done, we can then move on to the Clubman Cup. So this time we've got a Kawasaki GPZ 400R, a Honda NS250R, and a Yamaha RZ250. Ironically, two of those bikes I used in the first two races. I don't need to make any setup changes. I'm pretty sure this bike will be fine. I shouldn't have any top speed disadvantages. And I'm pretty sure this will more or less be an easy win by the time I get to the flag. And looking for running room on the Yamaha, I do so as I dip from the inside to the outside and get the pass done. And now I'm already up into second position and we're not even at the end of the first lap yet. As we're heading through these S-bends, also hitting the rev limiter just a little bit there, but able to more or less keep my bike under control. The other two bikes, like I said, I used them before and I did win the first two races as well because, well, I showed you the two prizes that we win. And at the start of the second lap, I take over the lead from the Kawasaki GPZ because I am using a Suzuki GSXR 400 for race 3. And then once we are done with this, we can then move on to the Clubman Cup. Since I figure I do have time for that. Because why not? Anyway. Already got myself a gap. 4.5 seconds is the interval to the Kawasaki. So I'm more or less just going about my business as usual here. Because I am using one of the more powerful bikes here at Suzuka, and it looks like this one is going to be pretty easily done and won. Because that's pretty much what I did before. And there we go. It's done. The Sunday Cup is done. So pretty much a Sunday drive in that third race. 9.2 seconds the gap to the Kawasaki. And is everyone going to finish? Not quite. Well, most of us finished anyway. But there we go. That's our third race done. And just checking to see that I have a replay saved. I'm pretty sure I do. Yep, there it is. And now we will move on to the prize giving. Yeah, I should also mention with with certain single race events, you do actually win more riding gear. But not in this one, as we get a Suzuki Skywave 650. And my god, does this thing look like it is ready to strike. But there we go. Suzuki Skywave 650 is our prize for the third race of the Sunday Cup. And that's now Event 5 in the race events now done. Next up is the Clubman Cup. And so we will now go and review our third bike that we won from this, once I can find it. And it's in here somewhere. Here it is. Suzuki Skywave 650 in Pearl Nebula Black. That's what we get from winning race 3. And basically the prizes I got from the first 2 races, aside from the 2 bikes, I got more riding gear. Anyway, that's the bike we win from race 3. Unfortunately, however, we do not get any more helmets, and as I said before, I don't really give a shit about showing the helmets. So yeah, so up to 159 pieces of riding gear required, and we're up to 220 bikes, and we are now 58.1% complete with the game. So we are slowly moving along, and I'm pretty sure we were on... Wait, what percentage were we on before? I'll check. I will be right back. I just have to check something. Okay, we were on 56.5% at the end of the previous episode, so we've now moved up by 1.6% in terms of game progress. And next up will be the Clubman Cup, coming in the next episode of Tourist Trophy.